Did you hear the story about that Russell Crowe told about meeting a fan in the toilet?
What? No, I don't think I've heard that one.
Russell Crowe, you've been to a men's toilet before?
Yes.
And they have little
Yeah, you can look over and
things.
have a chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
look at Peter sizes.
Yeah, Russell went in and was having a bit of wee, and the guy next door was having a bit of wee next to him, and he looked over and was like, he recognises Russell Crowe. He's like, oh, mate, I'm a really big fan. And Russell looked over, then looked down and said, well, not that big of a fan.
Oh, that's a bit harsh. Well, that's the Aussie humour though, isn't it?
Yeah, I made that up. Hello and welcome to Jimmyish FM. My name is James. Welcome to Cursory Conversation, a new episode 10.
Are we up to episode 10?
Finally made it to episode 10.
Hi everyone.
I'm James, and you are
Tania.
Or me and I, and
We.
joined by
We.
we are.
As a we. Well, yeah, I am joined. Yeah, Tania. Me. Oh God.
Hello.
Hello. Long time no see.
Yes, has been a while.
James had the man flu, everyone.
Well, you had the flu as well to start off with, then I was away, and because I got sick on the way back. All those dirty people on the plane.
Blame the dirty people. It's fine. This is like almost like slumber party podcast. That's what I'll call it. Late night slumber party podcast. Is that too girly?
I don't know. I mean, that's sort of the vibe we're going for. We're back at Kings Park.
Yes.
But on the other side of the park, looking over the Narrows Bridge.
It's quite pretty. It's more hidden. It's
inside
definitely
the car because it's quite cold outside.
Yeah, and it's bush outside. It's a bit creepy, to be honest. And there's probably people.
We're on Makeout Hill.
Yeah, there's probably people boinking on either side of us.
Yeah.
Well, actually, that's a lie. My car's next to us, and there's someone on the other side of James. So, on the other side of James, we're not looking to our right. We're keeping our eyes directly forward on the lookout.
There's a much better view forward anyway.
Well, that's true.
Because there's actually lights, not pitch black.
That's true, yeah.
It's quite scary being here alone while waiting for you to come.
Sorry.
I thought I was going to get
He's
kidnapped.
locked himself in his car.
And then I was worried that it hadn't locked, so I tried it again and the light turned on and I'm like, oh my God, everyone can see me now in the car.
Now I'm prey.
Yeah.
Like they're all going to come for me. Well, that's what, so James dropped me the pin of where to meet earlier today. And I was like, is that like bush Kings Park? Are you taking me out into the bush? I got a little worried. And then he clarified that it was a lookout. So that's fine. But prior to that, I was a bit like, are we just going to go see
Well, if
in
you
darkness?
put it in satellite view, you would see that was a
Yeah,
lookout.
but I'm not that technological. It makes me feel like I'm on some sort of mission, like I'm some agent for the FBI when you pin drop me stuff, because I'm like,
that's pretty much the concept of this podcast.
Yeah.
Meet me at this random spot.
This is the mission. If you choose to accept it, that's what it makes me feel like. But I'm not that technological and don't use satellite view, so I just type the address in. So we haven't seen each other in a while. So this is like catch up conversation, really.
Yeah. How are you, Tania?
I'm good. I'm busy, very busy. So
That's right. You've been working non-stop.
Yeah, I've not had a day off in 5 or 6 weeks, so I'm getting a bit delirious. I think it's more just like you need a day to get up at your own time and not have to be somewhere specifically. Yeah. I think that's what's getting to me. It's not so much the having to work hard and do things. It's just the fact that I have to get up to be somewhere 7 days a week. Like that's and it's all different things, so it's, but it's fine. Just get a little, I say with the crazy eyes and a side smile, I'll live. No, I might try and take a weekend off in a couple of weeks maybe and just have a breathe.
Weeks.
Yeah, in a couple of weeks and have a breather. I took the day off for my nephew's first birthday that's coming up. Yeah. And I'm like, when's that? I'm like trying to calculate when my day off will be, but I'll still be running around after children. So it's fine. It's cool. I'm functioning.
Yeah.
But that's why I got sick twice. And I was just saying like earlier, I don't get sick. So it's because you don't have time to rest. Look after yourselves, people. Balance is key. I harp on about this to everybody I know, but at the moment I'm not doing very well at that myself. So I need to check myself because I always
Before you wreck yourself.
before I wreck myself, because I always tell people off for not balancing themselves, and it's okay too. But yeah, so I'm not being a good advocate for that right now. But how are you? You've recovered?
Sort of. I mean, I not really, but yeah, I just drove up from
Oh yeah, what were you doing down south?
I was there for Sydney Fest Oz, which is like a film festival down south.
Oh, cool. Whereabouts down south?
It's like all over. Like it's mainly in Busselton, but they have shows on in every little town.
Awesome.
And Bunbury.
Did you see anything good?
I didn't actually go see anything.
Oh.
I literally went down there didn't end up going to see any films. My friend had a show on where kind of like how I talked about I had my script reading. She had one down there, so I went down to support that.
Oh, cool.
And then I could have gone to see some movies today, but I was just like, I am just going to not pay money. I'm going to save money and just relax it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Chill out at my parents' house.
Oh, they have a house down south?
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that's the thing. I want to take a weekend off and just go down south because I feel like I just need a breather away from things. You know, even like I just want to go for in the trees. I just want to go and hang out in the trees for a while. But the earliest I finish, by the time I get anywhere that's a little bit out of the city, it leaves me with like an hour kind of thing, and it's not quite enough because it starts getting dark, and you don't want to be stranded out in the bush. So I think that's also why I'm going a bit insane because I haven't had like any like outlet to kind of be away from the city kind of thing. So
have you checked out the Venus and Jupiter?
What?
Occlusion or whatever they call it.
Is that why they're close?
Yeah, like if you see in the east, in the west, in the early evening, this is two bright stars together, and it's like you for a second you're like, is that UFOs?
Yeah, because I noticed earlier tonight that they were really close together, and I was like, are they always that close together, or they're just not as bright?
I think Mercury's around there as well.
Oh, awesome! No, I didn't know that was a thing, but I did notice. I was observant and noticed it, but yeah, okay, cool. I was gonna say, so oh no, you're back at work, yeah? When did you get back from Melbourne? So you're in Melbourne. How was it?
I got back at the start of the month. Then I was sick for 2 weeks, and then this week.
Great communication.
Pardon?
I said we've had great communication. So have you been converted to a hipster? Is that what Melbourne did to you? How did you like it?
It was basically hell on earth.
What?
I just can't get over how bad Melbourne is.
Really? You didn't like it? Because I remember you were like, I'm not sure. I'll see when I get there. I'll give it another chance kind of thing when last time we spoke.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
really didn't like
I had a pretty amazing experience in that I was in the central CBD in like a 5-star hotel.
Oh, yeah.
Going to movies.
Sounds terrible.
And talks.
Terrible,
and,
James.
Lots of free alcohol. And so it should be amazing, right? But you realize that you're just in this dump of a place in terms of location. I'm sure if Melbourne was in a better location, it might be an okay city, but it's like it was just raining, it was cold.
Oh.
Everyone's a smoker there, so
Really?
you're walking along or at least they're all out of the building because they can't smoke inside, so they're all on the sidewalk. So you're just walking through smog.
I'm sure that happens here.
All these smokers and all the pollution from the cars as well.
Oh, yeah, it is.
But it's mainly the smokers because, I mean, they have trams and stuff, so it's a bit cleaner than Perth is. But it doesn't feel cleaner.
And you didn't like the vibe, though?
Oh, just so many homeless people. It felt like I was in a third world country.
Oh, wow. So, yeah, I haven't been in since I was like 12 or 13, so I don't. Yeah.
I'm sure if you're out in the suburbs, there's homeless people in Perth CBD, but
yes, that's true.
You're not out. You don't have to step over them.
Yeah,
because there's that many.
Yeah, and if you didn't go out to the suburbs and stuff.
But yeah, I mean, because I was there for the Melbourne Film Festival, they have big crowds, so it's fun. It was fun seeing these movies with an audience. I mean, I had just come from the Perth Revelation International Film Festival, which there was good seeing movies with crowds. So, I think the only difference was that some of the smaller movies have big crowds, rather than Perth, you only get big crowds for the more popular movies. So there's people say, oh, it's great culture in Melbourne, but I don't know if it's worth the sacrifice of living in a terrible city.
Controversial. I can't really comment because I haven't been in so long, but I wonder if you'll get any hate for that. So how was the actual film festival itself, though? Was it good?
The thing is, people might have hate it, but they're people who are delusional. They either live in Perth and they are like, oh, Melbourne's so cool because I go there and I do some shopping and I have so much fun. And I come back to boring or Perth. Well, yeah, boring or Perth because it's your home and you've got all these burdens on you, like your family and friends and stuff like that. That's
such burdens. Your family and friends. Your support system is terrible. It's a burden.
No, but I mean, there's emotional baggage. Like you've got, might run into an ex on the street, or you got to make sure your grandfather gets to his doctor's appointment to get his scans done, and you got to go back to your job, rather than people only go to Melbourne and to have fun. Yeah, because they're on holiday and they're spending money. They're not saving money. They're spending money. And then they come back and say, oh, Melbourne was so amazing. Yeah. If you go there to have fun, any city on the planet, if you go there with the attitude of I'm going to have fun, you can have fun. Anyway.
Yeah. No, that's true. You can have a good time wherever you are. You make your fun.
But I think if I was going to a festival, I feel like I'm trying to take myself out of my own shoes, put myself in like a European shoes, and you have a choice of going somewhere to like for a festival. I would way prefer to come to Perth in January and February and go to the summer arts festivals, spend the summer here, go down south, have some wine, go up north. Well, you can't really go up north in cyclone season, but
what then go?
It's just so much more a pleasant place to hang out.
Okay, interesting.
I walked through the Botanic Gardens in Melbourne. They were pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I remember those as a kid. I think my mum used to work near there, so I think we used to go there quite a bit, like a family trip. But, yeah.
And Melbourne's like way more awesome than Sydney, because at least it's interesting. But Sydney probably has all Melbourne's problems, but it's boring, and the people there are terrible.
I don't know. I mean, I had a good time in Sydney.
They like rugby. And they barely like rugby.
I was there for like 4 days and I was there for a job interview, and then I caught up with people that I met when I was travelling in Europe. So I had a pretty good time in Sydney. But I didn't do Sydney things as such. I just kind of more hung out with people. They had a Harry Potter exhibition at the time and I made someone come with me. That was good. But speaking of Harry Potter, are you into Harry Potter?
No.
Never have been?
Don't even know what it's about.
Are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
You're lying.
Nope.
You know what it's about. How can you have
I know what it's about. It's kind of like Lord of the Rings, right?
No. How can you have not...
It's like Lord of the Rings crossed with Twilight.
No, it's not. How could you have gone through life and not even know what it's about? You don't have to like it so much, but like not knowing what it's about? That's crazy.
I just don't know anything about it. I know there's like Hogwarts.
Yeah.
The type of hog, I guess.
No.
And they ride them in battle.
You're lying. You know what it is.
No, I don't. I honestly don't.
Oh my God.
If you haven't read the books, haven't seen the movies, haven't watched the trailers for the movies, how would you know?
Oh, but how have you missed that?
Because I think by the time
I guess
the
you're a bit
books
older,
came
aren't
out, I was too old for the books. And then when the movies came out, they were like crappy special effects things that arguably aren't as good as the book. So why would I see the Harry Potter movie?
Yeah. Well, I guess I grew up with them, so I kind of, they were like at the exact age. I think that the first one came out. I think I was about their age, so
I know.
grew
Here's the
up with
thing:
them.
is there's some things that I'm like, oh, I would never get into. But then I've said this on the podcast before, but I would, if someone gave me some hook that I would find interesting about it, I would have to watch it. My curiosity wouldn't let me ignore it.
Yeah.
Like I've seen Gossip Girl, like
that's a good show.
all of them, just because, and it's a terrible, terrible show. But someone sold me on this character called Blair.
Oh yeah,
Waldorf.
she's a good character though.
Yeah, she's like accidentally a good character.
Yes,
like,
yeah, she's a
this
good
is
character.
the worst show on earth that has the drama. It makes Home and Away look like Oscar-winning drama.
Oh, it's not that bad.
But they have this interesting character, Blair Waldorf, who's like a bad girl come good.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
she's a very interesting character.
Yeah,
I don't like Serena.
no, Serena's is the Home and Away kind of rubbish.
Yeah.
that I'm talking about.
But well, basically, Harry Potter. Have you heard that they made a play?
Yeah.
Yeah. So The Cursed Child or whatever. So they released the script in book form.
Oh yeah, people at MIF were literally, as we were walking from when we moved to the other, were like, "Oh, I got to go into this bookshop to get this new book." And
Yeah, I mean, I did. Like Big W had them for $15 on the day they came out, and I was at work and I sent my mum to get it because I was like, $15, so cheap. I was like, yes, I will go get it on the first day. And it's like, if you can sit there and read it. If you sat there for solidly, you could read it in 3 hours, like if you wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it doesn't help that you're not a Harry Potter fan.
Don't
but
you
basically,
want to wait and see the actual play?
No, because I doubt it's ever going to come here. One, and I'd have to fly over to London to see it, which, I mean, gives me an excuse.
Well, they've published the play now. Can you just perform it?
No, because it's not. There's like a disclaimer at the front that says you are not to perform this under any circumstances,
God.
kind of thing. Yeah.
How pathetic.
Well, but apparently the actual play itself, because before they bought the
The fact that they have to say that at the start of the book.
because people are going to, aren't they?
Yeah.
And like
They bought the book. They should be able to do whatever they want with it.
well, they had
As long as they don't sell tickets to it.
Oh well, that's what most people would do, though, would they not? They'd get people to
Right,
buy
but
tickets.
if they don't have a license to do the play, then they can't do it for.
Well, I'm sure people would probably
profit.
just put it on for fun, but yeah, you can't really. Yeah, but like the whole thing is, obviously it's been playing in London for a few months now, and people are trying not to give spoilers away of what happens because obviously not everyone can see it. So whenever there's been reviews on it online, basically just talks about how they've gone about the play. So it's really nice to be able to like connect them, I guess. But apparently the actual staging of this is phenomenal. Like, so there's this stuff called Polyjuice Potion, which transforms you into another person. And the transformation happens like on stage, like their face morphs and like all this different, like how they've done it's basically magic on stage. So apparently it's incredible.
Yeah, my sister saw it.
Did she? Did she like it?
Oh, she was talking about the magic on stage. It was pretty cool.
Oh.
But all right. The interesting thing I found about this was people were talking about, it's it was hard reading the format.
Oh my God, I don't understand what's so hard about it.
But didn't people read? You have to in high school you had to read Shakespeare and Oscar Wilde.
Yeah, but not everyone. Unless if you did TE English, generally you had to. You might have had to have read a little bit in high school. But the thing, like, I don't understand why people are getting shitty about it being a script. Like, it tells you there's stage direction. Like, what they say is what they say. And if there's a point where someone's meant to cry or someone's meant to exit this way or bump into someone, there's stage direction. You can visualize it. Like, yes, obviously, like as an actor, like reading the script makes sense to me, but it's still very clear. It just doesn't have the waffled like detail that a book does.
I'm not saying that scripts are good format, a medium.
No, it just annoyed me that people got shitty about it. I find it hard to believe
some people, this is their first time
reading
a play, because I'm pretty sure we read plays just in like year 8 at high school.
I guess so, but it's probably a long time for them in between. Or some people are saying that kids
and
were
I bet
having
it was a lot easier to understand than Romeo and Juliet.
Well, exactly. It definitely was, But it was nice. I mean, I got teary at one point. But I guess that's because I've grown up with all of them. So, like, I'm so attached to the characters. And it's about Harry's son. So they're all, like, 20 years older or something. So it's different take on it. yeah, that was I got excited about the new Harry Potter.
And he banged Hermione.
No, he got with Ron's sister. So his best friend's sister.
Who Ron is.
There's the best friend's sister. So Harry met Ron and Hermione like on the train to Hogwarts, like the very first day, and they were besties since. So Ron had a sister, and he ends up marrying the sister, and then Ron and Hermione get together in the end and have kids. So yeah, it's interesting in that sense. Well, because the actress as well in London that plays Hermione, the older Hermione, is black. And they were saying, like, you know, obviously because she's not in the films, there was like a bit of chat about that. And I was like, oh, it's ridiculous. She can be whoever she wants to be. Like, doesn't have to reflect the film as such because it's a separate entity, like, for that. You know, otherwise you'd have to find Emma Watson lookalikes, but older kind of thing. So I found that, like, when they released it, like the cast a few months back, I thought it was really interesting because people were like tweeting J.K. Rowling being like, do you condone this kind of thing? And she was like, of course I do. Like, can be whoever you want to be. Like, it's up to their interpretation. Yes, so I thought that was interesting.
I'll just quickly transition to my topic of the week.
Oh, okay.
Because it relates to what you're saying.
Right, okay.
But did you hear the furor? Is that a word?
What?
The hullabaloo.
Oh, yeah.
About people writing scripts and describing a woman who's pretty but doesn't know it.
Why was there hullabaloo about that?
Well, it's sexist.
Well, like, in what context? So someone's written a script.
It should be blacklisted from Hollywood sexist.
Oh, okay, right. That's no, I haven't heard. Was this like a story that recently came out, or is it just a general?
There was some guy was sort of going through scripts and how a female character was described in scripts, and he was just gathering the stats of all these scripts he was going through.
Yeah.
And all these women are like, the woman who's like the sort of B hero she's always pretty but doesn't know it.
Right. I don't necessarily think that's sexist.
Anyway, but I think that's a myth, right? There's no such thing as a woman who's pretty and doesn't know it.
Is that what you're trying to get at?
No, that's what I'm trying to get at. But
okay. I was like, you don't care about it being sexist. You just want to get to the point. Okay, I was like, I don't necessarily, just on that point, I don't necessarily think it's sexist because it's a character description. You could easily describe the male character that way too. I'm guessing the fact that they don't.
But why would you need to describe someone as pretty?
We'll describe someone as pretty.
Unless you say they're ugly, won't you just assume that you're going to cast a pretty person?
Well, no, because they could. Part of the character of them being who they want, like, might be that they've cast them and specifically to not be like. And again, it's in the eye of the beholder. So that person could be stunning to someone else and average to someone else. So like, it's whoever casts them. But I think the whole point of saying, if someone's
I think I'm
pretty,
just saying when you're just saying if it's a Hollywood film script and you don't give a description of what they look like, they're going to cast a pretty person.
Oh, of course.
They're only going to cast an ugly person if you actually deliberately put it in. So it's kind of redundant to say that. But the reason they're saying it is because that's a character description. But is there really in real life? This is where I'm getting at. And the reason I bring this up is because my female friend's script had this description, and I thought it was ironic that she had done all these things that have been said as sexist. You're not allowed to do, but it was a woman who did it. And like, if I had said that in my script, I would have got in big trouble. But in real life, there's no such thing as a girl who's pretty and doesn't know it, because in this world, right, if you're pretty, if you're a girl and you're just even the slightest bit pretty and you walk into a room, every guy there is like, I'll be looking and going, I'd probably bang her.
But you wouldn't say that to her, would you?
No, but you can look at...
So how does she pick up on that?
Right.
That doesn't happen.
What do you mean?
They might think it, but it's not like in a film where they've walked into the room and everyone just stops dead and looks at them. If they're remotely pretty, that doesn't happen.
No, but you can tell when someone's looking at you, sizing you up, right?
You can if they're intentionally doing so. Sometimes I can't. Sometimes I'm like, okay. Yeah, sometimes
I'm pretty sure if you went to a restaurant, stood up on a table, was like, hey, does anyone want to bang me? You'll get a lot of, or the only reason the guy wouldn't put his hand up is because he's with another girl and he's embarrassed to.
Yeah, but then someone who, you could say the same for, that could just be a guy.
But a good-looking guy.
She's offering.
A good-looking guy could get on the table and a good-looking guy could get on the table and you wouldn't get as many... Yeah,
but that comes down to the whole guys will fuck anything, won't they? If they're offering, if she's offering, if she gets on the table and she offers, she could be, to them not very attractive, but she's offering, so sure. Whereas females tend to be a little more on the modest side when it comes to, yes, a very attractive male could get up and be throwing himself, but they might not necessarily.
So you think it's possible for a girl to be pretty but not know it?
I think so. It'd be a rarity, but I think it's possible because,
from a third person's perspective.
Yeah.
Because obviously you can be pretty and you could hate yourself, so you're like, oh, you're so ugly.
Exactly. So that's.
But you would be. But from a third person's perspective, from the audience's perspective,
yeah,
you wouldn't know that.
Yeah, no, I think it's possible because some people, I don't know, it depends. If they're like ridiculously like off the chain.
But
hot,
okay, and again,
then you would know.
The only situation where that might happen is if she hates herself so much that she's like, I can't believe I'm pretty because I'm awful. But then,
what's
if that means if that's the only way that really happens in the real world, that puts a whole new connotation on that character. We meant to, if we see that in a description of a character that she's pretty and doesn't know it, should we just assume that she hates herself?
That she has self-loathing. Yeah. Well, I mean, yes and no.
I think
that could bring about that she's damaged. That could bring about other connotations, not necessarily like direct self-loathing. But I think it's possible. But at the same time, what's pretty? To what level do we say that somebody's pretty? Like, oh, they're like, oh, they've got a pretty face, or they've got pretty eyes, or they have a pretty feature, or are they stunning, like hot, attractive?
Yeah.
Like I think it'd be very rare that you found a hot, because those kind of people, those like off the charts, like ridiculously stunning human beings, they would be the ones that you would walk into a restaurant and overtly have people turn their heads to look at you. Whereas if you're, different to other people, like they might not necessarily all look at you, might get one or two, or, and in that case, do you realize that there are one or two people looking at you? If you walk into a restaurant and everyone does it, you're going to notice, right? So it's a different, like, what's pretty.
Yeah, but it's not like everyone just turns their heads. Whoa! It's just over the course of the night, everyone's had a glance and sized you up and go, oh yeah, I might give her a bit of a booty boo.
No, I think it's possible. It's a rarity, but I think it's possible.
But anyway, what I think when people putting that scene description in is they want someone who's so down to earth that, she's completely oblivious to the fact that she's attractive because she's such a good person, but she's still really hot. And that's like a mirror of mythical characters, because I just don't think that person exists.
Yeah, like they're mythical, they're not real. Well, that's the... I think it's more to cover their own arse as well, because if they have someone
if you're a beautiful woman, you wield so much power. You live a completely different life to someone else.
But that's what I mean. Like, I think it's to cover part of Hollywood's own arse, because they're like, well, if we depict these stunningly attractive people as being humble and not knowing that they're attractive, well then, like it's not for their own, like, for so much for a character trait as it is for their own benefit. Like, them trying to make them relatable. But you know what? I've noticed that that's more of a thing now. Like, not casting the supreme being as the lead constantly. Like, it still happens, obviously. But in saying that, the people that aren't I'm going to say supreme being in inverted commas, because again, it's to the eye of the beholder. But those people are still very, very attractive. They're not, it's not like they're lesser, but they're just more, like they say, girl next door, or, that kind of, all of that kind of vibe. But like, that's their look. But it's like, so what's it just is what's popular at the time. But I've noticed they've started casting that bit more of quirky.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of, oh, look, it's even more down to earth. Look. But then those people will still, you'd see them on the red carpet in their dress or whatever else, and you'd still be like, oh my God, these are, you know, beautiful people. So it's, that's interesting. It's a good point.
I think in Australia they don't like casting.
On that though, that actually segues into something else that I wrote down to talk about. So a couple of weeks ago, I was just flicking through Facebook, and there was an article called "How to Date Somebody Hotter Than You," and I saw the title, and I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Who writes this shit?" Mm-hmm. But then curiosity got the better of me because I wanted to see.
Sorry, the title again?
How to Date Someone Hotter Than You.
Yeah, okay.
And so curiosity got the better of me, and I'm like, is it going to be like a list of how to? Like, how stupid? But it wasn't. It was actually very interesting. So basically it was a blogger who was writing about an experiment that she did in her evolutionary psychology class.
Yeah.
And so it was an experiment that had like 15 men and women, and they were each given a number, like just randomly, between 1 and 10. And they were given a time frame, and they had to put their numbers on their heads, so they didn't know what their number was.
Yeah.
And they had to go around, and their mission was that everyone in the room had to find their 10s.
Yeah.
And partner off with the 10, so that by the time the time frame was over, you would be with the 10. And
the 10 is in what?
As in like the highest, like hottest rating, right? And I was
so the number was allocated to them based on their attractiveness, or was it completely random?
It was, their number was given to them by the random, but the basis was that 1 to 10, 10 being the hottest, 1 being the least, right? So, but they would give it to them at random.
So these people weren't necessarily hot.
No, they were just in the class.
Yeah.
Anyways, they've like walked around, and as you're walking around trying to communicate with people, you quickly get a sense of where you sit on the spectrum. If you go up to a 10 as a 2, and I'll go away because then you're not. But then if you are the 10 or the 9 or the 8, people start flocking to you because you've got the highest number, and that was the goal of the time frame, right?
Yeah.
So you quickly begin to learn who is who. And now, by the end of the experiment, weirdly enough, the lower numbers roughly ended up together within like 1 point. And one of the 10s matched with a 9 kind of thing. But the other 10 was so busy racking everyone else off that by the end of the time frame, she was left with a 2 because she was trying to find...
Deflecting everyone
else. And I was like, that's so interesting. And the whole point being, so I screenshot the end of this. So, you know Megan Fox?
Yeah.
So she's dating Brian Greene, who was on 90210 like years ago. But she started dating him. So they started dating when she was 18 and he was 31, long before she realized how high the number on her forehead was and how low his would become. Just like the show that made him famous, his celebrity started with a 9 but would end with a 0. Yet it doesn't matter. Thanks to his excellent timing, he will die happy. Oh yeah, so the whole point of it was like, it depends on when you meet people kind of thing. And then she's like, ladies, do just the opposite. Patience is key. I guess you can think of romance as a big epic game of musical chairs. The men are just walking around in circles like idiots in their 20s, not realizing how pointless the endeavor is until the music stops. And when it does stop, whatever chair they're next to becomes the greatest chair in the world. In other words, be next to a hot guy when the music stops. There's a good chance he'll sit on you. I just thought that was so good. I was like, that's fantastic. And like, she was saying, you know, also that's why it's quite common for people to maybe have dated for like 7 years or something in their 20s, and then the female gets fed up and she's like, you know, you're not going to marry me, so let's break up. And then maybe the next year or so, the next person he dates, he marries straight away within a year. And that's quite happens a lot because they've reached that age where it's like 30 and, you know, I was like, it's so interesting. And I just thought the article was proved such a point as to like, you know, obviously you're not given that small amount of time frame as they had, but yeah. So I thought me being curiosity getting the better of me of a stupid article, what I thought was just really interesting. And I was telling everyone about it. I was like, this is great. You sit next to them, he'll sit on you. Like that's what's going to happen. The hot men will sit on you. So that was my article thing that I read. That was cool. I also read The Girl on the Train. Have you seen the trailer for that? With Emily Blunt?
Yep. Did see the trailer for that.
Yeah. I read I was like, I want to read the book before it comes out because it looks very Gone
movie,
Girl-esque.
It just spoils the movie, doesn't it?
Yeah, but it looks very Gone Girl-esque, so I wanted to see the difference as well, because Gone Girl was slightly different to the movie as well.
Yeah.
My main annoyance with it is that the girl on the train is set in America, and it's in the book, it's in London, like outskirts of London. So that annoyed me, because I was like, well, and I read an article today that they were like, people should stop complaining that it's set in America, because they're trying to outline the fact of how, like, you know, in England, it's not that shameful if you're an alcoholic, whereas in America, it's very embarrassing. And they want to really outline the difference between being, because she's an alcoholic, the chick in it. So, like, she's an unreliable witness, which you get from the trailer. That I didn't spoil that for anyone.
Yeah.
You know, so, yeah, it's good. I enjoyed the book. It's like diary entries from different points of view sort of book. So, and then they meet up and stuff. But I won't ruin it for you. Are you interested in seeing it?
I looked at the trailer because I'm like, well, this could be interesting. Girls on trains are pretty hot. And
it's a sinister take on a girl on the train.
It looked a bit... It looked like the movie I could see where the movie's going to fall down.
Oh. When I first saw the trailer, it was more just like, this looks like Gone Girl. If it has the same ending, I'll be annoyed. And I didn't quite get it because it, like, in terms of the trailer, like now that I've read the book, when I watched the trailer, I'm like, oh, that makes total sense. But not having read it, I didn't think they quite gave enough away. Yeah. Like, they just made her look really naff and, like, stressed out. Like, I think they need to give the fact that she is an unreliable witness because she's an alcoholic a bit more. You don't have to know why she's an alcoholic. Just the fact that she is what is more intriguing than making her look like she's just not interesting, like in the scheme of things. I don't know. But yeah, it's kind of, it ends, it's an unexpected ending, but then you could have seen it as well. So it's, yeah, that's all I'll say.
Yeah. I used to work at a liquor store, and this very attractive woman would come in like every other day. I don't think it was every day. And buy a bottle of Bacardi, like a 2-liter bowl of Diet Coke, and a packet of menthol cigarettes. And I'm like, I'm guessing she's a raging alcoholic to be able to drink that much
in every couple of days.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. See, that would make me sad working in a
I'm like, I want to know. It just makes you so curious, like,
what made them that way?
Because everyone else who was that badly alcoholic were just like, you know, like they just did not have their stuff together, yet she did. She seemed to be like a very functioning alcoholic.
Oh, okay. So you were just like, well,
I want to know what her story is.
Yeah. As it, like, what's wrong with you?
Do you know what I mean? Like, literally some guys who came in as regular said had like cockroaches crawling on them.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, gross.
Do you know what I mean? There's a big difference between
that's
this
some good imagery right there, though.
And a cockroach man.
Yeah.
How did we get onto that? You're talking about the character was an alcoholic.
Yes, she's an alcoholic. Yeah, so that was my other read since I spoke to you last. What else have I got written on here? Jared Leto. What do you think of Jared Leto in general as an actor?
I don't really have an opinion.
No? He's I think I wrote that because I read something about his like method acting for like the Joker stuff.
Yeah.
And he was saying how, you know, he'd test the laugh out in public to see what got the response that he wanted. And I'm like, I love it when people do stuff like that. I really do. But then there's too much method. Yeah. I didn't like sometimes. Like, that's fine. But, you know, he was in Joker the whole time he was on set.
The problem with that, I haven't seen the movie, but just based on the pictures of him, is like the tattoos he have are so cheesy. Like, you know, he has damage just written on his forehead, and there's other bits. If you look at the detail, they're just so ridiculous, these tattoos, that it's impossible. There's no way, other than some makeup artist or costume designer who was desperate to make this guy look edgy and crazy would have ever got this combination of tattoos together.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's amazing how the costume just ruined. I wouldn't be able to take his character seriously.
Well, I mean, the Joker character is always that kind of out there sort of, smeared face. Like, in normal life, he wouldn't take that seriously. So I guess that's the reflection of it. I mean, that movie got really bad reviews.
Did you see it?
I haven't seen it, but I wanted to when I saw the trailer and stuff, because I quite like comic book sort of stuff, and I did like the idea of them being villains, and I really did. But everyone just kept saying it was shit, and I haven't had a chance to go and see it yet. But the reviews are really bad. Like, apparently they were trying to get stuff taken off of Rotten Tomatoes because it was so bad.
Yeah.
Like, the reviews on there were terrible. I was like, wow, there are a lot of haters, or it actually was bad.
Instead of going to see it, I rented Batman versus Superman, and that was so bad.
I haven't seen that one. I didn't bother. I was like, no thanks.
Oh my God.
Like the 10th Batman and Superman thing. It's like when they redid Spider-Man. I was like, why?
Which one?
Well, the Amazing Spider-Man. The one with Emma Stone and what's the other dude?
He's already been replaced, hasn't
Andrew Garfield. Yeah, but I mean, like from Tobey Maguire, how they did those 3 films, and then they did The Amazing Spider-Man. It wasn't that far apart, like from when they released the other 3.
Yeah.
It's too soon. Like, it wasn't necessary. And then to have them as different Spider-Man. Like, if they brought back Tobey Maguire and did more storyline, like, sure. But the fact that they're completely, like, different cast, there's no link. And it's just, let's call it The Amazing Spider-Man as opposed to Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And I really liked the original Spider-Man. I think I've only seen the first Amazing Spider-Man, I think.
The best thing about it is he had organic web slingers. Like, in the middle one, he has like he built his own web slingers and stuck them on his arm, and it's just like, what? So he gets every power from a spider except the ability to sling his own web.
Oh, yeah. Every other ability. Radioactive spider. And there's just so many of them now.
I have seen like 1 billion movies because I've been going to film festivals and stuff like that. I saw the Louis Theroux documentary. I talked about that.
Oh, yeah. So I was going to go see that, but you saw it. Was it good? Talk to me.
No, it was not good.
Really? Because normally I enjoy his stuff as well. A bit of Louis.
Yeah, well, because he is on Scientology, but he couldn't get access to Scientology. So his whole stick is that he gets to go and live with the family or stay with the person he's documenting, Okay. But he couldn't do that this time. He sort of had this guy who had left Scientology, and they got some actors together, and they try and recreate scenes that he witnessed while he was in Scientology.
Oh. So it's not even that reliable because it's just a recreation of what someone says.
Well, who knows? I mean, you will never really. It's such a secretive organization that you'll never really.
So what kind of scenes did they have?
Fun.
What kind of scenes were they like?
Oh, just people. The head guy yelling at people. The scenes weren't that amazing.
Oh, okay.
So the Love Witch, which I definitely recommend.
Love Witch.
This is at Revelation. I think it was at MIF as well, but not while I was there. But yeah,
Is anyone I know in it?
No, it's like sort of it's a movie about a witch, and it's done as kind of like a B movie, kind of like a sort of Austin Powers.
Oh, it's intentionally a B movie.
Yeah, intentionally a B movie.
Right.
And this girl, she's like this absolutely stunningly beautiful woman who's the witch, and I guess it's like, what if Bewitched was R-rated in a way?
Okay.
And she seduces men and then knocks them off and stuff like that. And
oh wait, so she reels them in and then kills them like a widow spider.
Yeah, she doesn't kill them because she sort of accidentally kills them. It's like, oops, oh damn it, I killed him.
How does she accidentally kill them?
Well, you'll see it in the movie, and
okay.
but it's sort of a real feminist thing as well. Like she makes some of her potions with her used tampon and stuff like that, and
Okay.
it's just if you see, it probably won't come to Perth again as a festival thing. But if you're out there and it's at a festival and you go see what it all is, because it's just
Love Witch.
Yeah, people just this nervous laughter throughout it because it's just so cheesy.
Oh yeah.
But if you're a guy, just go and watch this beautiful woman all night long. It's amazing.
I've seen Swiss Army Man. I saw that a couple of weeks ago.
Oh yeah,
Have you seen it?
at Revelation.
No, I saw it just at the Luna. Because they played it. They just played it like as a thing after, I guess.
Yeah.
And we had the cinema to ourselves, so I could comment loudly as we watched it.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of I'd seen the trailer for it ages ago, and then I read the synopsis like again just before we went it because I was like, okay. And then I reread. I was like, okay, a flatulent corpse takes him back to the mainland after he's stranded on an island and is about to kill himself, and then he makes friends with said corpse. And like it just when you just read it like that, it sounds stupid. But it had like good reviews. So I was like, you know what? I'll go see it. It'll be interesting either way. But there were moments at the beginning where I was like, what the fuck are we watching? Like fun, like cheerfully, not like actually not angry, but just like, what is this? Because he'd just start singing along with like the music in the background randomly or like, but it was actually like, it was very clever. Like I genuinely didn't know where the film was going by the end of it. So I was like, I don't know what is this? Like, where is it? How's it going to finish? I genuinely didn't know. And yeah, again, they did such a great job at making this camaraderie between a corpse and like a slightly deranged man from, so it was interesting. Go watch it. I feel like you'd enjoy it.
I was on at Rev and Myth and I missed it. I didn't go see it at either place.
No, it was great. And obviously it's just Paul Dano and Daniel Radcliffe for the whole thing. And Daniel Radcliffe's the corpse. So he has a lot of kind of stiff bodywork that he does in the first half of the movie.
I binge watched Stranger Things, which is now old. I mean, I watched it.
I know. I still haven't gotten around to watching it though. I really want to binge watch it.
Yeah. The day it came out, it was like a rainy day, so I just sat down and watched the whole thing. It was like the best day of my life.
So it's really good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I don't want to overhype it.
Well, okay. Well, you haven't sold it to me. I've been meaning to binge watch it, but I haven't yet.
I saw The Gift. It's an Australian film. I think it's on Stan, maybe on Netflix. I don't know.
Is it old?
No, it came out last year with Jason Bateman and Rebecca Hall and Joel Egerton. Really good movie. I recommend it. Directed by Joel Egerton.
Is it?
Or Edgerton?
I think it's Edgerton.
Edgerton?
Yeah. Joel Edgerton. I remember that trailer coming out roughly last year.
I mean, the poster and the description don't really sell it, but yeah, it's a good movie. Great movie. Go see it.
Rebecca Hall, what else is she in? I feel like she's in a couple of things I watched recently that I can't think of the top of my head.
Recently she was in BFG.
Not seen it.
Transcendence. Johnny
actually.
Depp. Iron Man 3.
Yeah, I remember in Transcendence.
The Awakening. That's on Netflix. I saw that.
I don't see that.
The Town.
No.
Everything Must Go with Will Ferrell when he's on Living on the Lawn.
So how do you feel about M. Night Shyamalan?
His first 3 movies are amazing.
Does that include The Village?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge Sixth Sense fan, but Unbreakable, Signs and The Village, amazing films.
Well, so he's got a new one coming out. Have you seen the trailer?
No, is that called The Gift as well?
No, it's called Split, I think, what it's called. But it's got James McAvoy. And firstly, I love James McAvoy. I think he's an amazing actor. But go home and watch the trailer. But basically, he's got 27 personalities. And I imagine as an actor picking up that script, you'd just be like rubbing your hands together. Like, but he like abducts a couple of girls, but you don't really get what he wants them for because of all these personalities. So that's part of like the terror of it, obviously. But yeah, so I'm pretty keen to go and see that when that comes out because I feel like he'll do
every movie
a
he
great
makes
job.
is worse than last. Apparently,
Is what?
is worse than the last.
Oh, well, you know, maybe James McAvoy can bring it back. I don't know. But still, I was a bit like, I could see that there was, split personality thing going on, but someone in the trailer is like, he has 27 personalities. I'm like, that's a bit, like, that's excessive. Like, Jesus, that's a lot. Like, normally there's a few. Like, 27 is excessive.
Yeah.
But I'm sure, obviously, there's some mass twist at the end. I haven't seen The Village in years. I don't think I've seen Signs.
Yeah, I love the soundtrack to The Village, or the score. It's amazing. James Newton-Howard. I saw Shame.
Is that old?
Michael Fassbender.
I've seen that. That's intense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. I think I watched that in London. It's got Carey Mulligan in it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's intense movie. But that was when I first noticed Michael Fassbender. Like, I'd seen him in a couple of other things before that, but not really grabbed my attention. And then I saw him in that and was like, oh. And then started noticing him for other things. So
I'll do a very quick run through of Melbourne International Film Festival. On the plane over, I watched Midnight Special. It's kind of like this kid has powers and the government's trying to kidnap him and people trying to save him. And it's kind of like a bit like a Spielberg kind of E.T. kind of thing. A bit like Stranger Things, really. Then opening night, saw Death and Life of Otto Bloom. It's sort of like a time travel thing where this guy, his body ages in like a normal person, but his brain is running in reverse. It's really confusing, and that's the problem with the movie is you sit there the whole time trying to do the maths of what the hell is happening. His brain is backwards, so when he dies, he has the mind of an infant. Mm-hmm. But when people first discover him, he has the mind of an old man. When
do they first discover him, though? Like at birth, or?
No, he sort of just turns up when he's 20 or so.
Oh, okay.
And
convenient.
And it's possible that he had, his mind starts getting Alzheimer's, so he just sort of disappears as he gets younger, Anyway, it's just really confusing.
Now, wouldn't he become more lucid as he got older then? If he started
he gets
off
less lucid because he's...
No, if he started off with Alzheimer's, if his brain is old, then as he ages physically and gets younger, he would be more lucid, would he not?
Because his mind, he's losing memories as he goes. So he knows, when you meet you, he knows you, who you are, but he slowly forgets you. Because if he was living in real time, he would be getting to know you better. But he's actually getting to know you less as you go on. So when you first meet him, he knows you really well, and he starts to know you less and less and less. It's just a terrible movie because
it's terrible. Is
the whole audience is sitting there trying to wait. What state is he in right now?
Oh, okay. So you're like overthinking it.
Saw Sunset Song. That's kind of like a period drama set in Scotland, I think, just before World War One, and like everyone ends up going to World War One and dying or something. So it's kind of depressing. Lo and Behold, Reveries of a Connected World, which is Werner Herzog's new film. Amazing. But everything he does is pretty amazing. They saw The Neon Demon, which is a new film by the guy who did Drive and the Pusher trilogy. His name has a weird European name. Nicholas Winding Refern.
Oh, I can't help you there.
It's not Elle Fanning.
Okay.
She's turned up in LA to be a model, and it's sort of a bit of a horror film about being a model in LA and people taking advantage of you and literally eating you alive and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
And it's just ridiculous, and the audience was like laughing at how bad it was.
Oh no.
I saw Personal Shopper was Kirsten Stewart, and that film was...
What one, sorry? Personal Shopper.
Yeah.
Is that the German one?
It's like French, I think.
French or something? Yeah. Was it? How was that? I think I saw the trailer for it once. And it looked
doesn't
alright.
really go anywhere. She's a medium.
Who, really? I did not.
She can see ghosts and stuff.
I did not see that
and
in the
her twin brother dies, and she's knocking about in the city, hoping that he'll turn up and be like, "Oh my god."
Oh, okay.
And then on the plane ride home, I saw Youth, which was this movie where Michael Caine is in this like retirement village at the top of some mountain in Europe, and it's like a 5-star resort, and Paul Dano is there. He's some famous actor, and he's like trying to get off drugs, and there's this character that's basically playing Maradona as this. He's literally playing Maradona, like this overweight ex-football star. Is it Harvey Keitel is the other guy? He's playing a Martin Scorsese director who's there, and he's trying to write a movie, and it's kind of this place where rich people go and have saunas and stuff like that.
Paul Dano's in a lot of stuff lately, actually.
And it's quite a relaxing film, although it's a depressing tone because it's about these guys just waiting to die, and they're seeing all these young people have fun and stuff like that.
But it's got Michael Caine in it.
Yeah. And I watched half of Where the Wilder Thingamongerdings.
Oh, I saw that.
And I stopped at
back.
where the
Why?
dogs, they started killing off dogs, and I was like, I didn't watch that. It was depressing.
Oh, that's good. I like that story time sort of feel in a film. Like, did you see The Dressmaker with Kate Winslet, and she goes to the small town? And yeah, I like that same
you've
sort of.
You've talked about this.
Yeah, but yeah, that same sort of. I like that kind of vibe. The Hunt for the Wilder People had that going on.
Apparently that's become the highest grossing Australian movie ever.
Which one?
The Dressmaker.
Oh, that's right, because the other one's Kiwi, isn't it?
I've got written down bad movie binges, and I don't even remember these films. The Final Countdown, Suburban Girl, Knock Knock, and Zipper.
I've never heard of any
Zipper
of
was
those.
about another sex addict film.
Oh.
Knock Knock was Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves is at home alone. His wife and child have gone to visit his grandma, and these 2 young girls turn up at his thing and they're like, "Oh, it's raining. Can we come inside?" And they take off their clothes and seduce him. And it becomes like a horror movie after that.
Does he kill them?
It's not very good. He wants to kill them.
Oh. Keanu Reeves, what are you doing with your life?
I've watched a lot of... I've just lost track of all this stuff, I've watched more stuff in the last month.
Too many things in your brain.
The rest of my life combined.
I'm actually really...
And I didn't even go to any movies this weekend.
Yeah, and you were down there. I can't believe that. It sounds like you've had enough, though, to fill your mind for a while.
Yeah.
When it comes to that. I'm actually really sad that I didn't wear pajamas. So I have an announcement to make.
You're married.
No. But I love that's where your mind goes. No. I'm back on Tinder.
Oh, right. Okay.
Because remember I told you I went off it a few months ago.
Yeah.
And I've been clean and sober for about 3 or 4 months.
All right.
And I caved and went back on it the other week. Yeah.
Any results?
Yeah, we'll see. There's
nothing yet.
Huh?
Just irons in the fire.
Yeah. So we'll see. But in terms of like weird people as such, there's only been a couple that sound like I've not met them though, but I mean last time I was on it there was just constantly people saying stupid shit, and this time it's not been as bad. So slightly restoring my faith. So
haven't been stabbed yet.
Oh God, don't even joke. Yeah, so far I've only been back on it I think 2 weeks now. 2 weeks. And I've met up with one person.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I don't know. Have you ever been on Tinder? I don't know if I've asked you if you've ever been on it. No, you've never had it?
The only reason I know what it's like, well, this is not true, but they've recently started putting, these YouTube videos where people take over other people's Tinder profile and stuff.
Well, yeah, I
Messy.
mean, I think the whole reason I went off it was just because I was like, I'm sick of meeting like just idiots. And, that's not even to say that I was specifically looking for something. It was just more, they just weren't selling themselves the right way. Like they weren't what they said they were kind of thing. Like either be honest about it or not. Like, so I just got over it. And I was like, you know what? If I delete it, then maybe I'll be like, look, universe, I'm open to meeting people organically. Yeah. Right? It just still didn't really happen. Like, so I was like, okay, it's fine. And I tried. So I was just more adamant at not getting back on it for a good length of time, not like 2 weeks or, like a month. I was so set on being like, I will not go on it for at least, 2-3 months. And I got to like 4. But I went on like OkCupid in between, which is another app. And it was awful. It was so bad. I was on it for a week. And I deleted it because it was just like, it's not like, so Tinder, as shallow as it is, Tinder, you swipe and you match people like based on the fact that you've liked each other, right? So at least you've liked each other. On Cupid, OkCupid, anybody can write to you.
Yeah.
Which, has its pros and cons, obviously, because you might not have looked at this person before. But I just felt people were so much more entitled on there. It was crazy. I had people messaging me being like, hello, like, how are you? And I didn't reply because I wasn't really interested or whatever. Or maybe I just didn't check it because I wasn't like on it constantly, right? So like 2 days later, I'd get like another message, just passive aggressive, like, or not. And I'm like, that's not going to make me want to write to you. Or I'd get, are you real? Or just like slandered, like, you females don't want to like reply back. Like, it was awful. I actually just felt bombarded by people who think that it was okay to be passive aggressive to someone online and that would get their way. Like,
welcome to be a woman on the internet.
Well, no, but it was just not, like, at least with Tinder, generally, if they say, hi, how are you, or whatever they might say first, if you don't reply, generally, they don't send you another passive-aggressive message being like, why haven't you replied to me?
Yeah.
Generally. Or they might try and send you another one and then they let it go. There was one guy on there that for the whole week that I was on there wrote to me, maybe on one of the first day or so, and like I got 3 other messages in that whole week being like, with like 3 or 4 days apart. But they weren't like trying to talk to me. They were like passive-aggressive. So, yeah. That wasn't cool. So I kind of just thought I'd share that experience with people. If anyone agrees with me, that's tried OkCupid as opposed to Tinder. Like, as shallow as Tinder is, you can still get a vibe for someone that's when you start talking to them, obviously. Like, but yeah, and you could match with people on OkCupid if you wanted to as well. But it was just different.
Don't they have like a computer thing where they try and match you on?
You do answer questions, so they do give you a bit of a like percentage of what you would be with the other person. Yeah. But like this is the thing, I didn't even bother filling out, like on OkCupid you can fill out the whole profile. Yeah. And I didn't even bother doing that because I was like, I don't think I'm going to stay on here for very long. And
now maybe this is why you're getting all these idiots, because you didn't fill the details in so anyone could.
No, because I downloaded it and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to stay on here. Yeah. So I just kind of wanted to see how like the app worked. So within a day or two, and within those like couple of days, I just put like a couple of pictures up and answered a couple of questions. So at least it could give me some percentage with people. Yeah. But the couple of questions were like automatic questions, not ones that were on my profile as such. So like I'd still have a bit of percentage with people. Yeah. So that was an interesting experience that I won't do again. I mean, but yeah, Tinder's the same too. So it just depends. Like everyone's on Tinder or some other dating app, so you can't really judge. You don't judge each other for it, obviously, because you're there as well. Like, yeah. So, but it's so stupid. Like, so many people are like, what are you on here for? And I'm like, what do you want me to say?
On OkCupid.
Or like Tinder or OkCupid. Right. And I'm like, well,
Just want to bang it out.
Well, no, I'm like, just whatever comes along. But I'm like, what do you want me to say? Is that what you want my answer to be? Well, in which case, why don't you just ask me? Do you just want, are you on here for sex? As opposed to, like, do you know what I mean? Because I'm probably going to give you an answer that you don't want to hear. So why bother asking? Like, just if you're only on here for that and that's the reason you're asking me, which is generally the case. If they've asked me the question, being, what are you on here for? They're just on there for one thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'm like, just whatever comes along, really. It's not specific, like, oh, you know, this or that. So that's interesting. Maybe you should get on it for, like, social experiment. We can swap stories.
It just sounds like the most horrible thing ever to me.
Well, when was the last time you bumped into someone organically and went out on a date? I bumped into an old, like, flame and did that. But that's, like, someone I already knew. So...
I just don't think I would want to do that.
No, but
I guess I couldn't.
Oh, I completely understand people that don't want to be on Tinder or anything. It is pretty bad. But, you know, but then there's
I've accidentally gone on some blind dates before.
Yeah.
And they were just horrible because, like, the odds of them actually being a good person without you knowing them.
Well, that's true with the Tinder thing. It's the odds game, isn't it, as well? Like, there was another guy I was talking to and he was like, oh, you know, actually he was a nice one. He was talking just about, like, stuff in general. And then he was like, oh, my last girlfriend was actually from Tinder.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. So how, just if you don't mind me asking, like, how long were you together? And he was like, oh, we're together for, like, just over a year. We went on holiday together. And, and I was like, well, you've officially restored what little faith I had in Tinder for like some people. And he's like, well, I'm back here, aren't I? I was like, true. But you had a solid, like, relationship out of it. Well, not just like, you know, so I found that interesting. But, you know, there's all sorts of articles on, like, Tinder weddings now and stuff because people had met on there and ended up getting married or something. Like, you know, who knows? You can bag it out as much as you want, but whatever works for people.
I don't really have anything against Tinder. It's more that, like, you come back and complain about, oh, I had a bad experience. I'm like, well, I don't really feel sorry for you because
who, me?
You or anyone who's complaining to me about Tinder.
I haven't really complained to you about Tinder as such. More people, but not Tinder in general. I've told you stories, just not.
Yeah, I guess I'm just not looking for the kind of thing that Tinder offers. Do you know what I mean?
But that's the thing. It can offer you whatever you want it to offer as well at the same time. People have the connotation with it that it's just for sex, but it's not. If you want to use it for that way, obviously you can. But you can use it for whatever you want. You just have to be clear about what it is, I guess. You know, if that's not what you're into, then you have to write and say that's not what you're into. Like,
if, like, you could set up what can you do? Does it use your Facebook profile?
So it uses, you can add random photos on there now, but it does connect to your Facebook. So you have to have a Facebook. So that's how it gets your age and stuff, right?
Yeah.
You can connect your Instagram to it if you want, so people can see more photos of you. And there is a little section that you can write about yourself in. So you can write.
So that wouldn't be helpful to me. It'd be cool to have a dating app that literally goes. I don't really use Facebook, but I imagine, like, if it's like, okay, because, like, if you're advertising, you know, this is one thing I do know about Facebook. If you're advertising on Facebook, you can target the kind of people you want to advertise based on what they like. Like, that's what the dating app should be. So I was like, okay, I want someone who likes, you know, theoretically the perfect woman for me. If I was going to treat it like targeting ads at someone, you know, I go, oh, she has to like the SpaceX page because I'm a big SpaceX nerd. And maybe you want something arty, so she has to, maybe she likes Jane Austen, so she's like the Jane Austen fan page. And then you can whistle it down from there, and so you find every woman in Perth that likes both Jane Austen and SpaceX.
Well,
and you would probably find none.
Yeah,
2 million people.
You know, you're being picky now, James. But there is on Tinder, they do So they tell you if you've got mutual friends from Facebook, and they tell you whether it's first friends, so like direct mutual friends, or second friends. I don't really get what that is, but whatever. So it's like connections, like networking. But then they also have, if you've liked the same page, it'll tell you what the same page is that you've liked. So that's how you can start a conversation with someone. So if you've both liked Louis Theroux, Nando's.
Oh, right. So it does connect to what
it does.
like.
It does connect if you both match. So yeah, like you can see sometimes there'll be nothing because you don't like any of the same pages.
But to get to that, you've already had to swipe on them, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, so that's terrible.
Oh, actually, no. It tells you when you click on them before you swipe on them. So it comes up with all their detail and then you click yes or no. So, they do try and incorporate a bit of that. And yeah, there's been times where like someone's either used that on me to start a conversation or I've used it, I guess, like if it's a band you like or So there is that little bit there.
Well, where can we find you on the internet then?
Oh, you can find me, Tania Alice is what you can find me under, but for Tinder, not Tinder. Oh my God. For Twitter.
Hook up with Tania.
Oh my
Tinder.
God. No, please don't hit me up on Tinder. Oh my God. Okay. So for Twitter, you can add me on @Tania Alice _ So it's TANIAAALIS _ hit up my Twitter. It's pretty sad actually. So that would be good. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, I'll allow it. Sometimes I post some interesting stuff, I've been busy of late, so I've tried. But TANCHE _XI.
All right, we can find me at the guy called Tom. This podcast is on Gimmerish FM. You can find Gimmerish FM at gimmerishfm.com, facebook.com/gimmerishfm, twitter.com/gimmerishfm. Leave a review on iTunes, please. It's a free podcast. All we ask in return, don't have to pay for it. All you have to do is log into iTunes on your computer or the iTunes podcast app on your phone and leave us a review. Gimmerish FM. Even if you use a different app to use podcasts, iTunes reviews are the only way that helps surface podcasts in the wider world.
Yes, do it. Get involved.
Well, thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.